Yo, what's up, everybody? It's DFS Dudes back with the Detroit BC for another edition of the NHL Morning Skate. Today is Tuesday, Super Tuesday in a lot of places. Tuesday, March the 3rd, calling it trade day. I see on FanDuel. 3 was the number I wore. 3 is my favorite number, so I always love March 3rd, 3-3. Maybe I'll be around 3-3-30, right? That'd be cool.
Why not?
I was around for 3-3-3, which was very cool as well. So, big slate in the NHL tonight. As always, before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, make sure you click the subscribe button below. Enable the notifications so you don't miss any of our live videos for NHL, MLB, NBA, NFL, NASCAR. I could go on the list, on and on and on and on and on. A ton of content on the site for you every single day. Some really in-depth analysis that we have. So make sure that you do click the subscribe button. Like I said, if you haven't done so already, like this video. It helps us out a lot. And enable your notifications so you don't miss any of those videos. Without further ado, man, what is up?
Hello, Jeff. Thank you for having me again. Jeremy, excuse me. Things are well. It's 50-plus degrees here in Michigan. So as you can see, I have my Miami Beach favorite polo on and go from there.
Enjoying the warm weather. Big slate of games tonight in the NHL. We have 10 of them to get into, so we'll get right to it. You ready to go?
Absolutely, yes.
The first game on the docket has Montreal at the Islanders. The Islanders are minus 130, 5.5 over under in this one. Who are you liking?
I like the Islanders tonight. Their first line. The Islanders they've been losing. They've been playing just crappy hockey, but they do play better at home. Montreal comes to town. And I think tonight in this one, it's going to be an odd one. And when I say odd, I mean higher scoring than we think, like a 5-4, 4-3 final. And with all the other firepower and the other like high-priced stacks and teams going tonight, I think we could really sneak a New York Islanders one line in under the radar tonight. They're cheap-ish, excuse me, $5,000 to $6,000. Line one, power play one, and like I said, I can see 5 or 4 goals to them tonight.
Any interest in Montreal or just sticking with the Islanders on this one?
I'm going to stick with the Islanders. No, I think this is the first time since I've been with you in the site that I haven't mentioned Montreal when they played. I've always been a fan of Montreal too.
We'll move on. St. Louis.
The slate, there's so much other stuff to get to.
Yeah, it's a monster slate. So moving on, St. Louis is at the Rangers. St. Louis minus 140. The over-under in this one is 6. I'm sure you've got some excitement for this one.
Absolutely. I love St. Louis one tonight. Jaden Schwartz, Ryan O'Reilly, Braden Shen, all 3 guys, first line, power play one. The Blues are playing in New York tonight, but they're riding a 7-game winning streak. And during that span, they've averaged 3.2 goals a game, and they're converting 23.9% on the power play. So that first line stack with the power play has some chance tonight. As a DFS player, I'm sure you can agree here. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's always wise to ride the hot hand and follow that wave. So I could see a 4-1, 4-2 final tonight, and St. Louis gets a goal or two in this one, maybe even a power play goal.
Do you like Zibanejad at all on the other side of it as a one-off play? This guy I know has been a popular player lately, and he's just been on a freaking tear. But the price tag is $8,400, and there are other spots to pay up.
Well, as we get into the video a little bit, and when everybody clicks the hot pucking stacks, I do have a lightning round portion of the article with one-offs. He is not mentioned, but it's just because of that price. But again, if he's been playing so crazy, sometimes price doesn't matter. You just got to get the guy in there. I feel no way one or the other on Mika tonight.
7 goals in his last 8 games, I believe. He's been on a tear. Some people may say it's perfect time for regression as well. So
yep.
We'll move on with that in mind. Ottawa's at Pittsburgh. I know you love Pittsburgh tonight. Pittsburgh's minus 280. This is another one of those spots. It seems like we've had one of these games on each slate like last week where somebody's close to a minus 300. Depending on the site you look at, they're between minus 310 and minus 280. 6.5 over under here. Looks like a 5-1 type game. And I know, like I said, you love Pittsburgh here.
I do, but I have a disclaimer on this one. I texted you this morning. I wanted Pittsburgh on the hot pucking stacks photo, right? And I know that Ottawa's been playing bad all year, but Pittsburgh has been equally as bad. They've lost 6 in a row, right? They've been due for a bounce back game for probably a week now. I I have zero expectations for Ottawa tonight, but when it comes to Pittsburgh, I think we all expect them to hammer Ottawa tonight, right? They're a massive home favorite with a 3.7 goal implication, and everything is set up for a Penguins blowout. But you know what they say about expectations: doesn't follow through, leads to resentment. So just be a little careful. Stack a full line. If I was going to pick one line to stack, it would be Pittsburgh 2, and then you can mix and match. You guys all know I love just mix and match, and I would mix and match from the first line. Jason Zucker probably being my favorite play there tonight.
Jason Zucker, your favorite play? Is that one of the infamous all-in Jason Zucker plays, or just we're liking Jason Zucker quite a bit?
Just liking Jason Zucker a little bit. We'll get to the all-in.
Moving on, Boston's at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay minus 125. This is a 6 over/under. This looks like it could be a pretty close game with Boston and Tampa Bay here. You like anything in this one?
I do. I like Boston 2 tonight. They're in Tampa, and this game should be a blast. Fun for fans of the NHL. But my Boston 2 play, my mind works in a different way when it comes to most everything, but especially my NHL DFS. Boston 2 tonight is more of a strategic move for me. If I look at it, Boston 1 and Tampa 1 are just going to hammer each other. So in my mind, I feel like Boston 1 and Tampa 1 might cancel each other out, leaving Boston 2 to sneak in and a clear path to points here. Boston's 0-4 their last 5 versus Tampa, and they're 0-5 their last 5 games in Tampa. I mean, come on. If you're, are you a betting? Well, you are a betting man, but if you ever go to a casino, if I play roulette and I see, black come up 10 times, I'm going to put it all in on red. So if you're still following me, play Boston the same way. They're 0-5. They have no success. So I think they hit tonight. They have to, right?
I think it's an absolute shame that some casinos don't let you go table to table in the roulette pit, because I made so much money in my younger days going to Vegas and literally just looking for streaks and then hopping from table to table. And I think it's a travesty that they don't let people do that any longer. Anyhow, moving on, we've got Nashville at Minnesota. Minnesota minus 125. This is a 6 over/under. That number seems to be popular on the slate. That's 6. Yeah. Minnesota's had a couple of games where we've really targeted them. One of them was against your Detroit Red Wings. Do you have any interest in Minnesota tonight?
Well, they paid off against my Wings, and tonight I do like Minnesota 1 again. And again, I feel like there was a theme when I was writing this morning that it's mostly gut calls more so than gut calls mixed with a little bit of stats and such, because the Wild are home. They're favorites at home against Nashville, and I think Nashville is absolutely exhausted. They're demoralized. They let Edmonton score 8 goals last night. They're on the second game of a back-to-back, and I just think Minnesota has the fresher legs, and they are quite cheap. And I think Minnesota 1 makes for a nice complementary stack to one of your more powerful, Tampa 1 if you want, Pittsburgh 1 if you want. They just make a good, they fit right. And I love when something fits right when I'm constructing my lineups.
Kevin Fiala and company.
Absolutely, yes.
And he's been on, monster 3-game streak with 31.2, 25.3, 27.4. This guy's been four goals in the last 4 games. He's been on fire. And I mentioned him because I like these kind of plays where he's, $5,900. He seems overpriced. It's a monster slate. He's not in a game where it's a minus 300 or minus 250. And look at that price tag of 5,900. It's a guy I like a lot on this.
And it's no secret. He's playing on the first line, and his other 2 line mates, Mayhew and Stahl, if he scores, they have the more potential for an assist. And that's a point. So you just got to get in these guys that are on hot streaks. You ride the wave.
Buffalo at Winnipeg. This is a 5.5 over/under. Got any action in this one?
Yes, I like Boston 1 tonight, and after the video, we will publish hot pucking stacks, and you'll see my write up on the article is longer than what I'm going to say here. But admittedly, Winnipeg won. It's a lazy choice on my part, and the only reason I say that is because Winnipeg won. Kyle Connor, Mark Schiefle, and Blake Wheeler, all on line one, all on the power play one. And they're just one of those lines where you can, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like you can set it and forget it, and they're going to rack up anywhere between 8 to 12 points a game, and you don't have to question it. So they all average 19 plus points a game. And the Sabres are god awful on the road. I've mentioned that a few times. And on the surface, it looks like a no brainer. And but head to head, yeah, Buffalo's 5-13, and I see a 4-2, 3-1 final here tonight. Winnipeg comes out on top.
Yeah, to me, that's a really good call for a cash type stack because of the floor they provide you. They just provide you a really good floor. And anytime you have that kind of a floor and a matchup like this, then you also have floor plus upside, which makes them perfect plays for both GPPs and cash games. So we'll move on. Anaheim's at Chicago. This is a battle of bad teams, I guess. The line here is Chicago's minus 170. It's a 6 over under. Is this one of those situations where there's fantasy goodness because both teams are just not good?
Yeah, for the goalie. I love Chicago's goalie tonight, who's already been confirmed, Corey Crawford. He's $7,800 on FanDuel, and he's $8,200 on DraftKings. And you'll be able to read about him along with a couple other goalies in the net here later this afternoon. So I'm going to stay away from like stacking any lines in this game, but I do like Patrick Kane in a one-off. Again, it's nothing crazy. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Playing Patrick Kane in DFS or seasonal isn't very profound, but he's a 1.5 play per game. So I like Kane and Corey Crawford, who is already confirmed.
Next game on the slate, we got Edmonton at Dallas. Dallas minus 160, 5.5 over under in this one. Anything here in this to like lower over under at 5.5? There are a ton of games on the slate.
Yes. Looking this game over, I'm going to follow suit with Minnesota playing Nashville. Nashville's going to be exhausted. Edmonton was in Nashville last night. They put up 8 goals. I think Edmonton is going to be exhausted. They're on the second game of a back-to-back. Dallas is fresh, and I in a way, I feel like Edmonton might be a little bit burned out. So I think Dallas, their second line, Roope Hintz, Jason Dickinson, and Dennis Gurjanov. They all play on the power play too, aside from Jason Dickinson. They're all very dirt cheap. And again, they make for another complimentary GPP line tonight. You can stick them in with more of a sure thing, maybe a Winnipeg 2, like we had said. And you can, maybe take down a G. This is the kind of line in the kind of action tonight where you can like put them in and you can maybe climb the rankings in a tournament tonight with Dallas too. I believe so, yes.
Really? I like that. New Jersey's at Vegas. I get excited every time I see Vegas on the slate. I don't know why I like this Vegas team. Maybe it's because the story, they first year success. It's the black uniform. It's in Vegas. I don't know why, but I mean, plus they're good, right? I mean, they're a good team, and they always play late. And I feel like as a tournament player, I always want exposure to teams that are playing late. And
yes,
for me, I just, Vegas is a team I always get excited about. So they're minus 300. It's a 5.5 over under. I think that they'll be somewhat chalky tonight, but I could be wrong because of the over under, and it's a big slate.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I did not mention them in the article today, but I do like, if I had to pick one skater from this game, it would be Vegas's goalie, Robin Lehner, who's already been confirmed. He makes for a fantastic play. He's only, what is he? He's $8,100 on FanDuel and 84 on DraftKings. He makes a really nice cash game goalie. And then what can we say about Vegas? I mean, I know you and I are in the business of providing content and giving our opinion and telling people what to do. And so no offense to any of you out there, but today with Vegas, I feel like it would have been a waste of my time and your time for me to write it down. It's like one of those plays where you know what they do, you know what they're about. You have free reign. This is America. Stack whichever line you want. Mix and match, which is a favorite of mine. Just mentioned it. So I don't think you can go wrong with Vegas 1 or 2 tonight. I'm just letting you know I really like their goalie, Robin, who's been confirmed already.
And you already know who I really like, and that's Riley Smith. I love the fact that we played him against Buffalo. I believe in our cash line, he had 27.2 FanDuel points, 2 shots on goal, 2 goals. And then against LA, he plays 19 minutes, gets 3 shots off, but doesn't score, and his price drops on FanDuel $600. So he's off a price drop. I just like playing this guy, man. He's one of those guys that, like we just mentioned, in this price range that gets you some volume, gets you some minutes, and it's a really good value play on this type of a slate.
For 5, yeah. Well, we alluded to it earlier, but my all-in play of the day is Max Pacioretty. I have him in my main lineup, my after-hours lineup, both on FanDuel, both on DraftKings. My prediction here is he goes for 20-plus fantasy points tonight. So I'm all in on Max, and I do mention him in my one-off section.
10 shots on goal in the last 3 games. The guy's also a volume player. Got to love that as well. Last game on the slate, Toronto's at San Jose. Toronto minus 155. San Jose pulled one out the other day and just absolutely annihilated Pittsburgh. Did they not?
They did, yes. And it came out of nowhere. And I believe we mentioned Pittsburgh was a good play, and they stuck it to us, yeah.
Yeah, so 6.5 is the over-under here. And like I said, Toronto minus 155. Last game of the slate. Do you have any do you have any wants or needs to get anybody in your lineups in this spot?
No wants or needs, but much like Vegas, you can't go wrong with Toronto 1 and 2. Those 6 guys, line 1, line 2, they all make up both power play units. San Jose is they're not good. You know them. You follow San Jose. But I must say that stacking a full Toronto 1 or 2 makes me nervous tonight, because if you look at it, Toronto's only 1 and 6 their last 7 games in San Jose, and I believe this is a major trap game for Toronto tonight. Not also for Toronto, but for us too. Stacking them, thinking they're in San Jose, can't go wrong with that. Again, more of a mix and match thing for 1 and 2, but I'm just warning you, letting you know, Toronto does not play well in San Jose.
I think I mentioned it before. It's one of those places where the Bay Area has really loyal sports fans. You can go back and look at, when the Warriors were playing in Oakland and they were terrible, that place was still the loudest arena in the NBA. And San Jose is the same type of deal. People still come out. They draw from a very large section of California. People drive 2.5 hours to go to the games. And it doesn't matter that they're just a loyal fan base, and it's a tough place to play.
Yeah. That's it. If I had to give, you asked me, so I'll let you know. I love John Tavares tonight. If I had to pick one guy of the 6, it's John Tavares. He centers the second line. He's on the first power play unit. I'm loving a John Tavares, Max Pacioretty, 1-2 combo in my lines tonight.
That's a great way. I like that. So that's a great way for you guys to get some exposure to the last 2 games of the slate. You have 2 people. They could possibly take you up the board if they go nuts and the rest of your lineup does what it's supposed to. I love that call. Anything else to add to this one before we get out of here?
No, that's it. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's reading the articles, commenting on them, sending me messages. I'm having a lot of good discussions with people about hockey in general, and it makes me feel good, not to be corny or, too sweet or weird, but I enjoy talking hockey with not only you, but everybody else who's reading. So again, I thank everybody for reading, commenting, sharing, and that's all I can say. Love you guys, and we'll go from there. We'll see you tomorrow.
Perfect, man. If you have not done so already, make sure you do click the subscribe button below so you don't miss any of these videos that we do on a daily basis for all sports in the DFS industry. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the Morning Skate. Visit us at dfscheatsheet.com. You can click any one of the links below to visit our sports-specific pages for NBA, NHL. And Chris's articles are up on the site, will be up on the site momentarily. In the Net, it's a new piece we do featuring goalies, campaign picks, etc., and hot pucking stacks, breaking down his favorite stacks of the day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, be cool, keep it cashing. Peace out.